Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, I've got a lot to talk about today. First of all, went to the at Bricktown Ballpark in Oklahoma City today, went to the event where Michael Burns, the general manager of the Oklahoma City Ball Club, the Oklahoma City Comets now, actually spoke, and I got to meet an absolute hero of mine, okay, today. So Mickey Mantle, I've told you the story. Oklahoma City became the Comets, and the reason is because of tune in fans. Mickey Mantle, he is known as the Commerce Comet there in Oklahoma. Commerce is a small town in northeastern Oklahoma. So I say that to say, when I was a young kid, Mickey Mantle would come to OSU games, and when I had cancer in my throat, he actually had a card waiting on me one day that said, "Hang in there, Casey." I still have that card. I post on social media. It's hanging on my wall to this day. And today I got to go to Bricktown Ballpark, which is one of my favorite places on earth, which is cool to begin with. And then also I got to meet Mickey Mantle's son, and I got to tell him that story about what his dad did for me. Danny, I'd actually met Danny before, and I think you probably remembered me. And we just engaged him for about a 5-minute conversation. He gave me a big hug. And so for me to say that I got to give a big hug to Mickey Mantle's son, Danny Mantle, today was quite awesome. It was just absolutely awesome. So want to share that story, and then also have a lot to talk about tonight. Wanted to get into all the great not World Series action. I'm already getting ahead of myself. Spring training action. And wanted to talk about all the great stuff, prospect talk, plus all of the talk that's going on the main field. And I wanted to say this, hey, and nobody is more competitive than I am. I promise you that. I absolutely hate losing, okay? Losing is one of the things that I hate the most in the world. And I don't know if my screen has moved over yet or not, but we'll see here in a minute. But I have moved it over, and I'm not exactly sure. If you're not seeing me, let me know. If you're not seeing me, let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to keep on. Okay, so losing sucks. I hate losing. Everything has a scoreboard to it. I tell my kids that every time I talk to them. I told my son that. I tell everybody I come and even like whenever I'm giving a direct instruction lecture or whatever, everything has a win and a lose. Did I teach this to you where you learned it, or did I not? Did I win or did I lose this situation? So I don't want to undermine the fact that the Dodgers are losing games in spring training, and that absolutely sucks. No doubt about that. Okay, but having said that, I think there's also some perspective that definitely needs to be given on that. What you need to be evaluating is, how are the guys doing that are actually going to be playing in? Okay, good. You can see me. Very good. It just switched over for me here too. My YouTube is just a little bit lagging behind. So how are the guys playing that are actually going to be part of the team that plays the games that matter, right? Not the spring training results don't matter, but they don't, right? I mean, they don't count towards your regular season. Nobody can remember what the Dodgers spring training record was, probably even last year, nor does anybody care. So there is some perspective on it. And Blake Snell, again, looked good today. Dustin May has gotten in, and he got off to a rocky start, but we saw the emotional end to his one inning. Tony Gonsolin has looked really good. Yoshinobu Yamamoto just looked insanely good. Tyler Glasnow, I think I went over him the other day. I'm not sure. All these shows kind of string together. Tyler Glasnow threw a bunch of really nice stuff the other day. And if you go to my social media, literally he hung 2 sliders, and just give the Reds credit. Ellie De La Cruz nailed one up the middle. I can't remember who the other guy was, but he gave up 3 hits. He made 3 mistakes. And to the Reds' credit, they capitalized on those 3 mistakes. So he gave up the 2 runs, and you can't hide that fact. That's not something that you're looking to for Tyler Glasnow. You want him to throw up zeros. That makes you feel better. Don't want to hide around that fact. But having said that, other than those 3 pitches, Tyler Glasnow was nasty. The velo was good. The break was sharp on the breaking pitches. So not worried at all about Glasnow. So Glasnow, Yamamoto looked fantastic. I thought Gonsolin, I talked about that the other day. He looked fantastic. Dustin May is healthy, and he looked, I thought, energized. I think there's a good way to put that. And then Blake Snell. We'll go over all those. So let's start with Dustin May. And this is the point that I wanted to make about Dustin May and how, just the way the Dodgers do things and how excited I am about this season. So, Dustin May is very good. His stuff is very good. Yes, Blake Snell is very good. Tyler Glasnow is very good. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is very good. All that's wonderful. But not only have the Dodgers assembled incredible arm talent in their starting rotation, they've also created a lot of different diversity, right? So Dustin May has the two-seam that turns right, okay? So it has arm side movement to it, okay? That's why I like Sam Carlson so much, by the way. If you follow any of my social media, I love Sam Carlson. I think the Dodgers, second-round pick 2017, I really think the Dodgers are going to tap into Sam Carlson. We'll see as they go along, but I'm excited to see his progress. So you have the right turn of Dustin May with his fastball with the two-seam. Then you have the high rider of Tyler Glasnow. Then you have Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who has a split-finger fastball. Then you have Tony Gonsolin, who has a split-finger change, right? I mean, so, and then you have Roki Sasaki, who some people think might be the most talented pitcher in the world, okay? That's going to be another high rider. At least that's, I've never seen him throw, so I can't, that's why I'm not wanting to speculate on what he is. So think about as an opponent, okay? And I think of this in coaches' terms. You're putting together all your scouting reports, and you're putting together one of the problems that the minor league guys have had, like River Ryan, Emmett Sheehan, Kyle Hurt. We used to have Clayton Beater. We used to have Nick Nastrini. All these guys, they would pitch. Ben Kasparius a little bit was in this vein, but they would all pitch, and like you play 6-game series in the minor leagues, and they all had similar profiles. So no matter how good their stuff was, by about Thursday, by the time the opponent has seen the same profile of pitches, high riding four seams, left turning sliders, tumbling and fading changeups. That's the profile of River Ryan. That's the profile of Emmett Sheehan. That's the profile of Kyle Hurt. Profile of Nick Nastrini. Profile of Clayton Beater. Profile of all these guys that were all pitching together on the same team. So the problem was, even though these guys were super talented, by Thursday or Friday, the other team was used to the pitching profile they were seeing out of these guys. So it made it very difficult. If you're the guy who threw on Tuesday, fine. But if you're the guy who threw on Thursday or Friday, you better be really good or the other team's going to catch up to you, right? So one thing that I really, really, really like about the way the Dodgers have assembled their starting rotation is they have assembled diversity. So you're going to sit down and game plan a right turn of Dustin May and just kind of the untamed aspect of the way that he throws, right? There's a little bit of looseness to it, and it's hard to totally game plan because he doesn't pinpoint everything, and it's just kind of that bull that, like I talked about the other day, if it goes straight, that horse in a race, if it goes straight, you're going to win by a bunch, but if it decides to get off course, you're going to end up in Alaska somewhere, right? That's kind of Dustin May. And then you have Tony Gonsolin with the high rider, which is in the left turn, obviously, which is different. Then you have the split finger fastball of Yamamoto, the slider, and then the total execution. So you have Yamamoto with just the precision execution. You have Dustin May with kind of the wild bull type of stuff with the right turn. You have Tyler Glasnow with the high riding and just the devastating wipeout stuff. Then you have Blake Snell, who has the elite off-speed stuff. So Blake Snell has curveballs and off-speed stuff that's elite, and then an upper 90s fastball, and if he gets you to 2 strikes, you're out. So again, not only has the front office assembled an incredibly talented starting rotation, they have absolutely created a rotation that has a lot of diversity. So we have a great crowd logging in. I want to thank everybody. I don't normally go on Thursdays. I have no idea what other shows are going on. If somebody else is on, I apologize for double whammying down, but this is the only time I have as far as going on tonight. So I want to thank everybody. Showtime. Zier Hope has been a standout so far. Yes, Zier Hope has been very good. Good athlete. Gotten to see the athletic ability of Zier Hope. Got to see the offensive game for him. I'll be interested to see what type of year he has as he moves up. Very, very small sample sizes. And to be honest with you, I haven't seen a whole lot of him. I know what happens is a guy like him that can run, and then a guy like him that can register a bat speed of that's very impressive, of like 105, 106, and he registers exit velos. So in other words, measurable outcomes like velo or bat speed or foot speed, whatever it is. So he goes to these events to where these people have access to TrackMan data, and a guy like that is going to stick off the page because he's going to have attributes to his game like bat speed, like foot speed, like exit velos off the bat that are measurable for the people watching him. So he's immediately going to jump up through the rankings just because of the measurables that people like that are going to be able to register, right? And so how that actually translates into game success, it has been good so far in spring training. Very, very, it was good in the fall, in the fall league. And so we will see how Zier Hope continues to progress. I can tell you this. One of the ways that I can tell there are some tricks that you can tell as far as the type of person and teammate these guys are. Whenever you post about them, if there's like a whole bunch of the other players that repost that post or even just give a like to the post about a player, you can tell that is a very well-liked player, right? And I can tell you every time that I post about Zier Hope, it is a flood of all the other players in the organization that like the video that I do, especially on Instagram, not as much on Twitter. Twitter's such a negative cesspool that really, I would say family members and players don't get on Twitter a whole lot because it's just a bad place. I don't allow it on my Dodgers Daily site. As a matter of fact, as soon as somebody wants to start bad-mouthing or going just typical social media on the players, it's an instant block. So I don't allow it on mine, but most players aren't on Twitter or Facebook because it's just a cesspool, right? So Instagram's where they hang out, and on those, they typically, if they like their teammate, they will like those. And that's one way that I can tell how well somebody's liked, and I can tell Zier Hope is one of the guys that leads the pack in that category. He's obviously very well liked, not just players, managers, coaches, former coaches, those kinds of things all coming to congratulate him. Those are all signs that he is very, very, very well liked. CNAV, what's going on, my man? Chuck Huddleston, does anybody else think Gothier looks like Ron Say? Yeah. So did Johnny DeLuca. Johnny DeLuca looked even more like Ron Say when he has his batting helmet on. I hope that Austin Gothier can really relax, get to some video of him, and let's get after it. And just, you don't want to be looking at me. You'd rather be watching these guys play, right? So we have a comment that Austin Gothier looks like Ron Say whenever he plays. So let me get this video over to Gothier here. There he is right there. And whenever he's holding his, let me get back to the comment here. So does anybody else think that Gothier looks like Ron Say when he has his batting helmet on? So there he is right there. There is Austin Gothier, and there is some live video of him. I would say so. That's a pretty good comp right there in terms of just looks. So Austin Gothier, this is a young man that does very well at knowing the strike zone. He's a guy that has a tendency to walk more than he strikes out. He has been passed by, and not just this spring training, but on different promotions and different thises and that I can't get into right now. So the temptation, if you're an Austin Gothier, who's an undrafted free agent out of Hofstra, is to try to do something different. Hey, what I've done so far hasn't worked. It hasn't gotten me a spot on the major league team, so maybe I need to do something different. That is Austin Gothier right there. Hitting the ball to the opposite field more than he pulls it, walking more than he strikes out. And regardless of what happens with the Dodgers, the roster spots, there are so few of them. I hope that he stays with his game and he does not try to become something that he is not, because then that's when you get out of your element. That's when you start pressing, and that's when you start not being as good as you should be. So I hope he stays close to his game. Mike Boyer says, what's the latest report on the Dodgers today? Any surprises to report on in spring training. Not on the news front. I think the biggest story of today is that Blake Snell pitched. And again, Blake Snell, upper 90s fastball, off-speed stuff that is devastating. Highest strikeout, swinging strike percentage of any left-hander in the game. The highest swinging strike percentage of the right-hander. The Dodgers have him too, Tyler Glasnow. So I would say the biggest, and then also here's another aspect. So if you look at today, Miguel Rojas and Kike Hernandez, they went back-to-back for a run. Mookie Betts got a hit. He's hitting 500 in spring training. Blake Snell looked good. Dustin May made his return. Tony Gonsolin looked good. Yoshinobu Yamamoto looked like a surgeon. Other than 3 pitches, Tyler Glasnow looked good. And Tyler Glasnow looks healthy, right? And we're getting ready to see Roki Sasaki. We have not seen Shohei Ohtani. We have not seen Freddie Freeman in a game yet. We haven't seen Will Smith. We haven't seen any of that kind of stuff, right? And so there's nothing to worry about. As much as I hate losing, I'm not worried at all about losing games in spring training when it's not with the people that are going to be playing the innings that are going to matter in terms of the wins and losses. Showtime, I'm kind of surprised Freeland hasn't gotten more starts at shortstop. I feel like the Dodgers should be playing him more. Yes, Alex Freeland, I know there is a narrative out on him that, hey, his ceiling is like, actually, that's wrong video right here. That's actually Nick Frasso, who pitched the other day. Looked very good. We might get to him. Alex Friedman is the play-by-play voice of AAA Oklahoma City. I clicked on his file instead of Alex Freeland, okay? And so there's a narrative out there that Alex Freeland, is kind of a ceiling of just an okay player. Okay, this is a guy that has stolen over 30 bases, okay, a year, all right? Let me actually cut over to him. Let me actually do my job here and cut over to him. This is a guy that has stolen 30-plus bases a year in the last 2 years, okay? This is a guy with a massive amount of power. He is a switch hitter and a great athlete. He is super motivated. He is on a straight line mission. I guess, if you want to think that, you need to watch him more if that's your opinion of Alex Freeland, because his talent level is way above just an everyday whatever guy in the major leagues. This is a guy that, if everything went right, could easily be a 2020 guy at the major league level. And he's already stolen 30-plus bases at the minor league level. So who's to say he won't be a guy if he gets on base enough? Now, that's going to be the key. Can he tame that swing and miss? The thing that I would say about him that would be the caution is, will he make enough contact? When he's making contact, this is a guy that is a plus-plus prospect. I'll just say that. You can have your rankings. You can rank him whatever you want. You can do all that, whatever you want. I'll just tell you this. He's a plus-plus prospect, in my opinion, and I would disagree with anybody who thinks that his ceiling is as an average Major League Baseball player. That is too low for Alex Freeland because of the athletic ability, the power potential, the motivation, the drive, the stuff that people don't see off the field, the way that he competes, the way that he demands that his teammates around him compete. There's a full package there with Alex Freeland that there is to tap into. Not to say it'll happen. He might go out there and strike out 31%, and it doesn't happen. I'm not saying that. You never know, right? I don't think that'll happen. But I'm just talking about its ceiling and potential. Barnes and Rojas are putting the bat on the ball. Yep, and Barnes, I've defended him many times. He's a backup. And Dodgers fans, I know it's all about what have you done for me lately, but you got to compare him to other backups in the league. And whenever you compare the ERA of the pitchers, whenever Barnes pitches to them, he is a valuable asset in terms of that part of it, plus what he can do in the clubhouse, plus how he works with the young pitchers, and just the overall culture of the Dodgers. There's nobody that could fit into that spot better. If there were, then they would have somebody else in that spot. And with the roster that this front office is built, here's what I'll say to that too, and not just with the superstar quality, but the margins that the Dodgers front office has proven to win on. They do as good on the margins as they do with the superstars, right? Then why would Dodgers fans want to question why the front office wants to keep somebody or doesn't? They've earned my trust. So if it's good enough for them, and you got to understand that's coming from a guy that gets quite often frustrated with the fact that they go and get free agents, don't trade the prospects, and the prospects end up in Oklahoma City, right? That frustrates me. So even having said that, you're talking to a guy that if it's good enough for this front office, the way that they win on the margins, the way that they built diversity in their their starting pitching staff, the way that they've won on the margins, if it's good enough for them, then it's absolutely 100% good enough for me. So, hey, I thought Matt Sauer looked good. Another guy that I wanted to note, I don't have video on him that I can play, so you'll have to go to my social medias, Twitter, Facebook, X, I'm too old school, X, Facebook, Instagram, Hesson Kim, okay? I'll say this about him. So the Dodgers, I'm going to say it again, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. So when I started watching him, it was more what do they see in him more than why did they see it in him, right? That it was what, not why. So what stuck out to me is the arm strength, number one. When he throws the ball from shortstop, I mean, it's effortless. It's smooth. He has an easy power behind his throw. I mean, so like if you go into the hole at shortstop, a throw from the hole in shortstop all the way to first base is 50 yards. 50 yards. If you don't believe me, go look up some of the pictures of the old Oakland A's Coliseum and whenever they had the football yard marker still on there and then also the baseball field, and you'll see a throw from the hole in shortstop is 50 yards, okay? And Hesson Kim, he can make that look easy. So the arm strength is just effortless for Hesson Kim. And then the foot speed. The foot speed is fantastic. So what's that going to do for him? It is going to be a transition. I don't think he's strong enough to be a dominant hitter right now. I think the baseball is going to win the battle with his bat quite a few times. Kind of like like a young prospect, like a Kenny George when he first came in. He just wasn't strong enough. I mean, 100 miles an hour was going to beat his bat because there's just not enough forward momentum that he can create with his bat speed to beat a 100-mile-an-hour pitch. That's going to happen to Hesson Kim, in my opinion, quite a bit. So what's going to allow him to transition to me a lot easier and on a consistent basis is the fact that he's going to be able to beat out ground balls like he did the other day. He's going to be able to use his speed to find ways to get on base. His speed combined with bat-to-ball skills. He's going to find ways to get on base that don't require him to barrel one up and hit 105 and find outfield grass. I think that's going to give him a margin for error that the Dodgers like. Then as he gets older and bigger and stronger, then he becomes the complete package. From what I have seen, which is very limited, and there's a lot of people that have watched him a lot more than I have that know a heck of a lot more about this than I do, I wouldn't be surprised if the conversation hasn't been had that Hesson Kim could easily be the future of shortstop in this system because Alex Freeland could play third base. You know, we've talked many times who's the future third baseman, by the way. Congratulations to Cody Hosey, who's continued his offensive momentum. Super proud of that young man. But the way that Hesson Kim can cover ground, the easy power he throws the ball with, the smooth glove work, I could easily see him being a major league shortstop and being very good at it. And the Dodgers just saying to heck with it. He is the future there at shortstop. And so, yes, Zier Hope has been very good. Sam Carlson is another one, that second-round draft pick, 2017. He's got that ride and run. Sam Carlson stuff reminds me of Emmett Sheehan. It's got that arm side tail to it, and then he's able to nail that four spot down and away. So he's got a left turn to a slider. He's got a ride and run, right turn to his fastball. And then I think as he gets going here, I think it's going to be mid to upper 90s, and it's going to be dirty. So I am super excited to watch the progress of Sam Carlson and then David Bote. If you want to follow video with me, because again, I don't want to get sniped, go to my X account, and I'm just going down my timeline. If you go to the Dodgers Daily Timeline, you can follow along with all the videos that I am talking about right now. And that might be a good experience for you. Instead of watching me on the screen, go to X and actually watch the videos. Just go down my timeline at Dodgers Daily on X or Facebook, or Instagram and watch the videos along with me. So David Bote, Major League experience, okay? 6 years of Major League experience, right? So another one of these quad A guys, Major League experience on a minor league contract. But what's attractive about David Bote? I mentioned this a couple of months ago, and I'm sure nobody remembers me mentioning it. He still has one minor league option. So what's valuable about that? So he's not on the 40-man. So if the Dodgers selected his contract and then eventually put him on the 26-man roster, okay? They selected his contract, put him on the 40-man, then eventually put him on the 26, okay? So here's the advantage to David Bote. Unlike all these other quad A guys like Nabil Creasmont and those kind of guys, okay, Giovanni Gallegos, if the Dodgers put him on the 26 and then wanted to send David Bote back to Oklahoma City, remove him off the 26, put him and leave him on, they can do that without having to DFA him. You know why? Because he still has one minor league option. So that flexibility I've mentioned several times, being able to, whenever the Dodgers feel like they want to, selecting the contract of David Bote, so the Dodgers can select the contract of David Bote and not have to send him to LA. They can select the contract of David Bote and put him on the 46 and not have to put him on the 26-man roster because he has a minor league option. They can also send him to LA and play for a week, okay, like they did Luke Williams, remember him a couple years ago, and send him back to Oklahoma City. So he is quad A depth, meaning major league experience, minor league talent, or minor league contract. He is quad A experience with minor league options available. That is a margin there for the Dodgers that is not insignificant. I promise you that. That gives David Bote an advantage. Jose Hernandez, I thought, looked better in his outing yesterday. I thought he released the ball with a lot more confidence. And then Ryan Sublette. I want to get to Ryan Sublette. Let me actually throw some video up on him of the guys that I have video of that I can. It's not going to be a video in the actual spring training games, but it will be video of the pitchers that you saw. So Ryan Sublette right here. Again, another 3/4 slot guy. I have heard the comparison from, I think somebody posted on X the other day. If it was one of you out there in the lobby, congratulations, because I thought it was a great comp. Dylan Floro is who Ryan Sublette reminded them of. And I'll tell you what, again, if he stays in the strike zone, that 3/4 slot is very, very good. So Ryan Sublette has looked simply fantastic in his two outings on the main field. Cody Hosey, who I want to check out about here in just a second right here. Let me get to Cody Hosey right here. Cody Hosey, very proud of him. And again, not just the fact that he's gathered some hits, but because he's also shown some power. He hit a double to left center field the other day, which I was glad to see. And that was super exciting because Cody Hosey has been a guy that has just been injured. He's been a guy that has not been able to get things going because of injury. He finally is healthy, and he has done nothing but just continue to work and just work his butt off to the point to where he was a very good player, and he's making a very good showing for himself in spring training. Here's another guy that was very impressive, Brandon Neek, another lefty in the system. This is a lefty that's out of Virginia. You actually got to see him yesterday. So Brandon Neek played at Virginia. He played with Jake Geloff and Chris Newell. Imagine that team. Go Wahoos, right? And so that was a very good team that made the College World Series. So notice how the ball's going to come out way out here. It comes out from behind a lefty's back. I don't know if I have a lefty on this video. Let me change the video and see if you can get a lefty on one of these. I'm not exactly sure which. Right here. Right here's a lefty. See how that's coming? That ball's coming right here. Let me back that up, and let me put that on a quarter speed so you can see just how difficult this is for a lefty to hit off of Brandon Neek. So watch where this ball comes out of his hand. It comes out right there. Okay, right here is where it came out. Let me back that up and see if I can actually pinpoint exactly when that comes out right there. Okay, well, no, I didn't. But anyways, you get the point. It's coming out right here. Now look at this angle. There's some crossfire to that, and it's coming from over here. So this ball is coming at that, and look at that angle right there. So talking to pitching coach Dave Anderson, The one thing he said was he created angles. That's what he's talking about. See that angle right there that Brandon Neek's creating? Good luck trying to hit that as a left-handed hitter. And because of that, Brandon Neek is a guy you need to know. Just like I told you need to know who the Maytag Jack Dreyer is. Why do you need to know Brandon Neek? How about this? So the slider and change are very good, by the way. Good fastball up in the zone there. Brandon Neek, but just like Ben Caspary, spent all last year reinventing himself. His sequencing, pitch mix, all of that, okay? And so he bought into it. He's like, hey, well, tell me what I need to do. I'm bought in. I'll do whatever I need to do. I don't care how bad the results are for a period of time. You tell me, look at that slider. That's devastating. You tell me what I need to do. I'll do it. We'll get the process started. So how about this? Struggled early on, and then from July 13th on last year, from that point on, he was the best pitcher in the Midwest League. Again, that's Brandon Neek you're looking at. How about an 0.45 ERA, K percentage of 31%, walk percentage of just 7%, average against of 0.63, and a 127 slug against from July 13th on for Brandon Neek last year. How about that? So, hey, I was glad to see Andy Pages atone for himself, and he had that atrocious play the other day. I'm not even going to freaking sugarcoat that. If he's watching and he wants to get pissed, sorry, man. That was an atrocious play. Okay, ball went over his head. You make mistakes, fine. Go get the ball, okay? That was frustrating to watch. So, having said that, I was glad to see him make the couple nice plays the other day, and then one of the comments or one of the questions was, does he come in on the ball better than he goes back on the ball? What he is he's a right fielder, okay? And I'm going to keep saying that. And out of the Dodgers, they don't have a position in right field, so I'm crying over spilt milk, so I need to move on. I get it, okay? But the angles are different. So the ball that went over his head was hit right at him. That's the one that he's never seen before, right? It's a completely different angle whenever you have a right-hander, and that right-hander hits one right at you. You're seeing the open face of a hitter. You're seeing the ball come off the bat. You're seeing the angle that it comes off the bat. You're picking all that up, okay? And when it's a lefty, the ball's tailing away from you, okay? So typically speaking, a lefty's not going to turn on one and hit one right at you that's going to – so like, okay, so here's what I'm trying to tell you. So if a right-hander hits one to right field, it's going to have slice on it, right? If a lefty hits one to right field, it's going to have hook on it. Well, if either one of them hit one to dead center, it's not going to have slice or hook on it. You know what it's going to have? It's going to have backspin. You know what that backspin's going to do? It's going to make the ball carry over your head. That's what Andy Pages is not used to. He's used to a ball either turning right or turning left. He's not used to watching it lift. And so that ball he was waiting on it to go left, you could tell. That ball had backspin on it, it lifted over his head, and it carried over him. That's what he's not good at. It's not going back or coming in. He'll be just, if the ball's to his left or to his right, it won't matter if he's going back or going in. He'll be just fine. It's going to be the one hit right at him to dead center that doesn't have a right turn or a left turn. It just has straight back spin, and it carries. Because that's the one you really got to turn around and run on. You got to run to the spot and turn around and trust the fact that you ran to the right spot. It is a play that takes a massive amount of reps to it, and I don't think Andy Pages will ever get enough reps to be good at that ball that's hit directly at him in center field that has the backspin carry to it, the backspin carry lift to it. Good to see Gavin Lux in a Reds uniform, and then Sean McLain. Let me tell you a story about him. He got a double the other day on the main field, and I wanted to make sure and cover him. Not going to get to his double on the main field, but this is Sean McLain, young man out of California, went to Arizona State. Actually, let me switch that over here. So right here, this is Sean McLain, young man out of California, went to Arizona State, very talented. He's a glove first middle infielder, probably he profiles as a shortstop. Brother of Matt McLain. Matt McLain starting second baseman, Cincinnati Reds. So the Dodgers yesterday were playing the Reds, right? Guess who was playing second base for the Reds? His brother, Matt McLain. So Sean McLain, who played last year with Rancho and then got some time with Great Lakes, I believe he got up with Great Lakes, he hit a double on the main field with his brother starting at second base, who is a major leaguer, his older brother. So what a moment that was for the McLain family. I got that out, and I thought that was a really cool moment for them, and they all liked it, and they all retweeted it and stuff. So obviously that was a cool moment for them. I thought Anthony Bonda looked fantastic. Not fantastic, but I'll say this about Anthony Bonda. I think he actually threw an inning and gave up a run, so not fantastic. He walked a guy too. That's not fantastic either. But I'll say this, at $1 million, I've said this before, I think he probably has the most team-friendly contract of any pitcher that has his experience in the game. So another point today, just mentioned it with all the celebrities, the Shohei Ohtanis, the Freddie Freemans, the Mookie Bettses. It's amazing, seeing Kike and Miguel Rojas. They're fringe players. They are guys that are role players, but it's a testament to them that they can be role players and still mean that much to the Dodgers team, right? So congratulations to them as far as just being just tremendous Dodgers. They mean so much to this organization, even in whatever role they're given. And whatever role they're given, they just do it, and they do it with a smile, and they don't complain whatsoever. So another guy I wanted to get to who threw today, I mentioned on his last outing, he gave up a 2-run home run and how he would be pissed about that and that he would want to do something about that. So let me back this up. This is actually not Justin Wrobleski. I don't know why that's on the screen here. Let me do this right here. This is Justin Wrobleski pitching for the Tulsa Drillers. So here's the deal with Justin Wrobleski. I talked to him in the offseason, my boy Robo, and he point blank said, I was basically a fastball only pitcher at the major league level last year because I wasn't locating any of my off speed. So he said his major goal this offseason was to make it to where he could land that slider and all of his off speed pitches in for a strike. That way, then his fastball, instead of being the pitch he had to use to survive, his fastball could then be a weapon being used off of his off speed stuff. So, yes, results are great, okay? But the real part of Robo's performance today was the fact, if you go back and watch it again, if you're following along with my narrative on one of my social media accounts, and I'm just going through my timeline on X right now and watching the videos on X as I go over them, you're actually seeing Robo on the screen here. But you can see today's performance if you do that. If you go to my X timeline, that's the best way to do this. Okay, you will see that he landed his off speed for a strike. That was the bit. Matter of fact, I just saw it right there. He landed in the middle of the zone. He landed it to the glove side of the zone. He landed it to his arm side, and then the fastball was big too. So mission accomplished for Justin Wrobleski today in terms of the goals that he wanted to meet for himself in landing his off speed for a strike. He did that today, and because of that, I was super excited about that. And then the last guy, or not the last guy, another guy I wanted to talk about you've never heard of. This is Robinson Ortiz, the lefty you saw come in. He was the last guy you saw today. Robinson Ortiz is kind of like Carlos Duran. You might have forgot about him. Since 2019, he's thrown exactly 22.2 innings. That's it, because he's been injured. I mean, he's almost come back, then had Tommy John, almost come back, been injured. He did not throw a single pitch in 2022 or 2023, and since 2019 has only thrown 22.2 innings of affiliated baseball. But this is a guy that was a big top prospect. He was in all the top 30 prospects list, and he is very good, very talented, as that would let you know. The metrics are good, and he's another guy that releases the ball behind a lefty. You can see that tail to his pitch right there. So this is a guy that is very talented. He just needs to stay healthy, something he has not been able to do whatsoever. This is a guy that has good velo. He has great movement on his fastball, and then also he has very good movement, tight movement on all of his breaking pitches. Very tough against lefties, obviously. And then another so that's Robinson Ortiz there. So wanted to Labernito. He is a very popular young man too, as well. Another guy that we have been telling you about for a long time that threw another very, very nice outing today. Let me get to him here and this would be Jose Rodriguez. 7 feet of extension. Best pitch is changeup. That one right there. His fastball is in the 96 range. Curveball is very good at getting swing and miss. Young man that grew up in Oaxaca, Mexico. His dad was the GM of the Guerreros, so he grew up around baseball. Went through the DSL. That's the big curveball I'm talking about. So you saw his changeup hop back over the plate. Great pitch. You saw his fastball at the top of the zone and the big curveball that tumbles out of the zone and gets so much swing and miss. So Jose Rodriguez, there's another good curveball for a strike. So you saw him shape it 2 different ways. One for a strike. There's a nice slider there too. So you're seeing all the arsenal of why Jose Rodriguez is so good. And he's doing it with 7 foot of extension. So he's basically handing the ball to the catcher at home plate. So very, very, very talented young man. Highest swinging strike percentage of any pitcher in the Dodgers organization last year. So it was exciting to see. Jose Rodriguez in action today. I'm going to get to the chat now, and then we're going to get out of here. So if you have any questions, any prospects you want me to throw some video on and talk about, now is the time. Otherwise, we're going to go through the chat, and we are going to get out of here, and I'm going to eat me some dinner. So CNAV says another tough outing for Julian Fernandez. Craig Osterberg says Snell was very good for his first start. Totally agree. Barnes and Rojas are putting the bat on the ball, says CNAV. And history man who always brings his A game as long as the Dodgers are lifting that commissioner's trophy again in October. That's all that matters. Totally agree. Chuck Huddleston. Rojas looks slim down athletic. I agree. Rojas, when he's healthy, has been very good. Just 22 days, history man. 22 days until the series against the Cubs in Tokyo. That'll be fun, won't it? Yeah, CNAB, we just got through talking about Jose Rodriguez. Very intimidating. Yes, Vin, you're welcome for me sharing my story there. That was a lot of fun for me to get to meet Mickey Mantle's son today. So that was a really cool experience for me. Hope looks like a major leaguer to me. Yeah, he has been very, very good. Gregory, do you think that Dalton Rushing could play third base? I do. Matter of fact, when I asked him that question, when I got to interview him over last summer, whenever I said, hey, the versatility, where can you play different places? He said, absolutely, give me a glove. It might be a little bit shaky early on, but I'll get it figured out. I was actually referring to third base. I didn't have any expectations of them actually moving him to left field. Definitely, if you can play first base, typically speaking, you can play third. He's a good enough athlete. He has soft enough hands. He can field a ground ball, and he definitely has a good enough arm. His arm's a plus arm for a catcher. So that all translates. My best friend in the world, Eddie Days, was a first-round draft pick catcher for the Cardinals, played in the Cardinals system in the 70s, early 80s. He ended up playing third base. That's not as difficult as a transition as you think, going from catcher to third base, because it's a lot of the same qualities. You have to have soft hands. You can't be scared of the ball, good arm, not fast but quick feet, that kind of thing. I definitely think Dalton Rushing can play third base. But again, it would be another transition, just another position you're asking a guy to transition to. So you'd be asking a guy again to transition into the major leagues and also trying to transition into a new position. It's just so very difficult to do. Mike Boyer, thanks, Casey. I need my Dodgers fixed, and I enjoy your research on the players we know little about. Well, I enjoy covering them. Hey, Otani had a great pin today, says Chuck Huddleston. That is fun to see. Robo had a good 2-inning outing today. I may have said 1, but 2 innings. It was very good. One guy I don't like is my garbage man, because he's always talking trash. Yeah, there you go. I love that. Love switch hitters. That is Alex Freeland. Ben McLain made a great throw from the hole yesterday, too. Yeah, McLain's legit defensively. It's going to be a matter of if his bat can catch up to his defensive skills. He's a defensive first guy. He is absolutely legit. Yes, and I agree, Orlando. Hesson Kim's arm is great. He is fast. It's smooth. I like everything I see about him. Hey, I thought Kim got a hold of one today, died at the wall. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be super impressive, his ability to let the bat beat the ball. But he has other ways to make up for that, I think, at this point. So, Orlando, hopefully his bat can hit big league pitching. We will see with Hesson Kim. And Vin says, I don't see Kim making the team. It'll be interesting. I think out of him, Outman, and Pages right now, it would probably be Kim, but who knows? So we'll see how that goes. Chuck Huddleston, that's big for Bote. Has an option. Did not know that. Makes sense that he is playing a lot right now. There you go. That's exactly why you're seeing that. CNAV, they give signing bonuses bigger than that for players that are going to the minors. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're talking about the $1 million of Anthony Bond. If I'm not, you might restate that. But as far as the incredible contract that he is on, the Bat Boy is making $2 million a year. Nick McLain at Camelback Ranch playing in the White Sox organization. Yes, Gregory. So it's a family full of great baseball players. And Sean McLean is very studious. Gregory, Casey, how do you feel about the new rule that you can't block the bases that in the stolen bases? That's been around in high school forever. It's called the crash rule. We've had that rule forever. So that's not new. It's something the major leagues should have done a long time ago, which is, to me, is why it makes more sense to straddle the bag, because if you straddle the bag, you're not in front of the bag. You straddle the bag and just drop your glove instead of being in front of the bag and swiping. So what a lot of guys will do is they'll go get the ball, and they'll actually, if they're in front of the bag, they'll step in front of the runner and get in the way. So that rule's been around forever, just not in the major leagues, and it's a good rule, and it should have been in a long time ago, in my opinion. Hey, Michael Craywick, thanks, Casey. P.S. Some of the pitchers looking on target. Totally agree with that. Michael Craywick, yes, it's spring. Yes, it's a lot of non-regulars, but, man, the team is very unimpressive. Yes, no doubt. And I hate losing, and I hate it when it looks sloppy. Sloppy defense is not fun to watch. Totally agree, Michael. Way too many SBs. Hoping the malaise hasn't set in on fundamentals. Totally agree with that. Hey, hit the like button, folks. We have had a great show today. It has been a lot of fun. We've been going at it for just about 1 hour, almost an hour. And so I wanted to get on here and talk about all the great action the last couple days. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, the best way to do this, if you rewatch this, go to my X timeline, and as I'm talking about these guys, just scroll through my X timeline, and you can watch what I'm talking about as we're doing that. That way I don't get copyrighted, and I'm able to stay on the live show. So, hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And just, really, man, it's just been a lot of fun watching these battles in spring training. So thank you for tuning in. I'm Casey Porter. It's a great day to be a Dodger.